Look at this. This is not good. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the Sony A1 LCD screen. Now, I have not done this before. This is going to be the first time even opening this camera, I believe. I have opened up a Sony A7S III before, so I have a feeling it's pretty similar. You might be in the same situation as myself where you broke your screen and now you have the option of replacing it yourself like I'm going to be doing today, or sending it in for repair. The reason why I am not sending it in for repair is because I don't want to wait weeks to get my camera back. I ordered this screen from eBay and this was about $200. The quote that I got to repair the screen was about $400, a little bit more than 400 bucks. So for half the price and less waiting time, I'm going to be replacing it myself. Now there is going to be a risk that I will damage the A1 and it's not going to be fun if I do, but I'm going to take that risk because I need this camera soon. And I don't want to be using my Sony A7S III for photos. I want to be using the A1. So follow along. I have a camera up here, the Osmo, filming like top-down shot. So before we start tearing apart the A1, I'm going to show you what tools we need for this project. We need a Phillips head screwdriver. I think this size is P00. I have a prying tool. This is not really a prying tool, so make sure you get an actual prying tool. This is just a screwdriver with a very tiny flat head on it. So I'll be using that to peel apart this rubber piece right here. And anytime I need to pry anything, I will use this. But make sure you get an actual pry tool because I'm risking damaging my thing, but I don't have a pry tool. Another thing I have is just an extra tool. This is just a multi-tool in case I need anything from there. And I have this piece of paper right here that I'm going to be placing all of my screws on and making notes of where I pulled these screws from. I have this tape here that I'll be using to place those screws onto here because I don't want to lose them, of course. I'll be using this tape here, placing the screws onto this here, like so. All right, so those are the tools that I think I need right now. If there's any other tools, I'm gonna list them all right here. And actually here, these are all the tools that you need. All right, so let's begin tearing apart our A1. Please God, don't let me break my camera. All right, best thing to do is honestly get insurance, or I think Sony has protection plans now. But again, you have to send in your camera and then try getting it repaired, and that could take weeks. There was one time I sent in one of my lenses and they were like, hey, we can't fix this, but we can sell you a new one. And I had to buy a new 16 to 35, expecting me just to get it repaired. And all that was wrong with it was the filter ring was bent, and they made me buy a brand new lens. A little bit, there was a discount, but it wasn't much. It was basically buying one used, but it was new. So it's a little risky sending in your gear to Sony. They just send it to a repair place anyways. It's not like Sony is repairing it, it's a third party. So let's start tearing this apart. First thing we're doing is the bottom. So I'm gonna mark on this sheet here, bottom. You could also draw out the bottom, but I'm not gonna do that. Whatever is helpful for you to do, I would do. There are a lot of screws on the bottom. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is take out the battery because I don't want to risk frying it. When I was taking apart the Sony A7S III, I started with the bottom, so let's just do that. I'm going to be placing the screws on my tape in the same order and layout that is on the bottom of this. That way I know, just in case some of these screws are longer in a corner or something, these screws aren't always the same length. So you want to make sure you're putting them in the same correct spot that you pulled them out of. And that's why I'm doing it this way. Get yourself an electric screwdriver. They are so nice. I would also take off the lens and put a body cap on if I had one. I don't have one, so that is why the lens is still on. But if you do have a lens cap and you're replacing your screen, just take off your lens. All right, so that's all of those. I think this does just pop off. Yeah. So I'll put this right here next to the bottom. All those are off, which is good. Now the next thing I'm going to do is take out the screws inside of the SD card reader. Hopefully you can see that up there. I will zoom in. Oops, wrong one. And of course, we are going to mark SD card. Get some more tape. I'm not 100% sure these are what I don't really remember what I did. But I'm pretty sure I took these out. So we're just gonna take it out. Be careful not to drop it in there. In the SD slot, that would suck. All right, looks like there was just one in there, cool. And then I know right here, we need to pry this up so we can take out these screws right here. That way we can take this back plate completely off. So I'm gonna try to be really careful to peel back this rubber. Don't know if you can see that, but there's one screw right there that we want to pull off. And being very careful. I'm gonna see if there's a screw up here on the very top as well. This is flap. Let's just take this one off. I think there is one more up here, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm gonna try to get up there. All right, there's one. I believe that's it. I think that's the body right there. So I'm not gonna go up any further. If it doesn't loosen up, I will revisit this corner, but I believe that's it for that one. So next side is the side over here. We're gonna take all of these out here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is, I'll put it on this side here. This is HDMI side. Carefully take these out again. All right, so I got those 4 out of this right here. So now, next one is going to be up here. And this is the viewfinder. So I'm gonna take off this cover for one. And you'll see we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think we might have to take this off as well. So we have 5 total. And it's going to be viewfinder. All right, and it looks like we'll have to take some of these screws off after this. I'm pretty confident that I can do this, but again, if you guys aren't comfortable taking apart things and putting them back together, don't do it. It'll just cause you more headache than anything, especially if like you break it. Nobody wants to break anything, and it's never fun when that happens. Yeah, especially when you have a $7,000 camera, you don't want to break it. Okay, so we got that off. Next, I'm going to take off the screws that are inside the of the LCD compartments. First ones I'm going to take off are the hinge for the monitor. I'm going to take that off last just because I'm afraid to do that. All right, so there's one. And okay, so that's just one there. I'm going to wiggle this around and see what happens. Oh, it's moving. Shoot. Trying to be as gentle as possible because of course I don't want to break this. It's coming off really well over here. Oh God, so scary. I'm gonna check if I'm missing any screws here because it's not picking up like it's like caught right there. So so close, come on. What am I missing? Ooh. All right, so close. Huh. I don't think I need to take this off, but there is one more screw that's holding in this bottom plate, and I'm just gonna take it out just in case. And that is the flap. So now this bottom piece should lift off. And this should come out. Let's see if there's a screw here. No screw. So I think it's just gotta wiggle out of the connection that's holding it in place right here. So I'm gonna slightly wiggle it until it pops out. Just wiggling it back and forth is all I'm doing. It's still not budging. No, I think I'm not gonna pull any harder than I am. I'm using a bit of force, so just gonna look closer. There's nothing in there that would be holding it. All right, I'm gonna take out these screws here that are also on the HDMI side, just in case those need to be coming out, but I wouldn't think they would, but let's just take them out. There's one down there by the multi-ports, and then 2 here holding in the Ethernet and strobe sync, I think. Whatever, I've never used that before. And yeah, these are longer screws compared to the compared to the multi-port. So, okay, so this came off, and I think that is what we had to do. Yep. So we do have to take off the door, take out the screws from these ports as well. That'll come off, and then you will be able to pull this completely off. Now, we're gonna take a look here. There's 1 ribbon cable connected to this, and we do not want to damage that. So what I'm doing now is just looking to see where I will be putting the ribbon cable that is on the new monitor and seeing where I'm plugging that into. And I can already see that is plugged in right there. So this is going to be a pretty simple fix as long as I do not break the ribbon cables. Now, when you take out ribbon cables, you need to have a pry tool. This is not a pry tool, so I'm not sure I want to try taking off this ribbon cable because I don't have a good means of putting it back on or even taking it out. So I'm gonna try doing this. Without taking the ribbon cable off. If you have a pry tool, definitely try to do it the right way. I'm just gonna start taking these off of the LCD screen. There's 4 screws holding in the bracket for the LCD. Just gonna take them out. So every step that we've done so far has been correct. So if you're following along, just know that we've been doing the correct things. All right, so now we got those screws off. I'm gonna slowly peel up here. Okay. It's not coming out. I don't know how that's being held into place. It's very scary. Let's see here. It looks like it's just being held in place with adhesive. It's like running through a channel here. I don't know if you can kind of see it there. But in this right here is a channel for that ribbon cable to go through. And I think it's just held in by adhesive because I can't really see any points where it's being held in. I will tell you if I'm wrong in a second. Yeah. Oh. So no, I was wrong. There is a metal piece. This metal piece was holding in the ribbon cable, and it was just being held in by those tabs. So that's good to know. So now I should be able to peel up, and I think that is adhesive on it too. Let's see. Yes, there's a little bit of adhesive on there that was holding that in place. Let's check it out. So we're almost there. Now we just have to take that, we have to figure out how to get that ribbon cable off. And inside of here, I don't know if you can really see it from the above camera. Let's take a look. All right, so we got this off. Oh shit, okay. I'm gonna be really careful here. I'm gonna try pushing out the ribbon cable. I don't want to, too scary. But I do need to take off the ribbon cable for this camera, or not this camera, but for this LCD screen. There's one screw, I don't know if you can see it, but there's one screw that has a plastic covering, and it's holding it in with that one screw. Oh. I'm just gonna place, it's a different color, so I'm just gonna place it right there. I'm gonna slowly pry this plastic piece off, and it just falls right off, so that's good. Now this is the ribbon cable, it's being held in right here. I'm not too worried about damaging this ribbon cable because it's already on a broken screen, but I am going to try to pull it off of its connection. Slowly prying it upwards. Man, I wish I had pry tools. See if I can just use my hands to pull it up. Do not recommend doing this. Okay, so I was able to pull it out. So we have successfully taken off the LCD screen, pulling out that ribbon cable, and we will have to take off this bracket with the hinge on it and put it on the new screen. So let's go ahead and do that next. I'm going to put this camera aside for now. And we are going to take this bracket off and put it on the new screen. Nice. That is the new screen. Looking good, screen. All right. So we are getting there. I'm actually pretty excited that this is going as smooth as we want it to go. I have no complaints so far. So this bracket, if we compare these two here, this is the, it does have to go like that, it looks like, once we get this off. Let's go ahead and start tearing off this chassis that's holding. I'm just gonna set these right here for now. So right now I'm just taking these two screws off that are on the current chassis here. And let's see how we take this off. There's two on the bottom right here. So we're gonna take these off as well. And I believe once we have these off, then we can pop it onto the new screen and then basically just reverse everything we just did. Okay, there's a little clip right there. If you have a pry tool, that's where your pry tool would come in handy. I think we just press down on it. Or just do a little wiggle. Don't want to bend anything, so just pry right here to get the chassis off the screen. Okay, I just pressed it in and it did not work. What the? Oh, I see. It was being held in. The adhesive on, oops. There we go. God, I'm being so careful. I just want to see how that went on. Because it doesn't just pop on, it slides. You always have to see how things get taken off. Because if you don't know how to take it off, then you're not going to be able to put it back on. And now I just put it back on, it's stuck. Okay. So old screen is now off. Perfect looking screen. Now let's just go back in reverse to put the new one on. Oops, make sure you put it in the correct way. All right, so let's slide this on. It looks like we did not have to take off one of these screws, but whatever. All right, getting this guy in there, almost there. All right, just like that, we have it locked in place, and now we can put these other screws back on. So these two screws that I put on the top, I don't think I actually had to take those off. You only had to take off these bottom ones. So I will leave a note on the video to do that. And if I'm wrong, take them all off. Okay. I'm not going to do any fancy editing, so I'm going to keep this all real time. That way, if you are following along and doing this yourself, then you can keep up. Sorry, talking and doing this all and trying to make sure I'm doing it right. It's a little hard, but I wanted to make sure that people won't be in my situation where I don't know. Okay, I don't have any adhesive. Sorry, I'm like thinking and talking at the same time, so it's not working. So I'm gonna take this adhesive off. See if I got something tiny. See if I can steal this adhesive. All right, well, if you can get some adhesive, it looks like it's double-sided tape. It's really small. And really thin too. I don't really think it's that necessary, but if you want to make sure it's completely the same way as you took it, as you taken it apart, you might want to get that adhesive. But this guy here is that metal plate that's holding it in place. I think that's all we really need. And I didn't watch it pop off, so I'm just gonna guess how to put it back on. There's two tabs right here. And once we have it flat, once you have the tabs in on the top or bottom, I don't know, whatever. Once you get the tabs in closest to the ribbon connection, I think you just slide it on. Yeah, you slide it on, and now it's locked into place. Yep. So we're good there. Whew. Kind of sweating. Don't want to damage anything. All right, so let me just make sure that I made that super clear and understandable. The plate that's holding on that ribbon cable, there's two tabs as close right here. There's two tabs right here that you need to basically slide it under this frame, this chassis, and then once you have that under there, push down on this side and then slide it up, and that'll lock it in place. So good. Now, time to get the camera back in here. And this is going to be the tricky part because I don't have a good way to put this ribbon cable in. So let's just give it a go. First thing I'm going to do is just stick the ribbon cable in the slot right here. There's a slot where the old one was. This is going inside of the camera. Once it's in there, I think I'm just going to, yeah, well, hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna put the LCD, I'm gonna put these ones back. Oh, uh-oh. Where'd this, I might have to roll back. Where'd this silver one come from? It's from the LCD. Where did it come from though? Hold on. Oh yeah, okay. Sorry, I forgot where that silver one came from. I was like, where'd that come from? So I'm gonna put these screws back on that's holding in the frame of the, so I'm gonna put these tiny screws in that is holding the hinge for the screen. Oops. It's gonna be so interesting when I turn the screen on. Oh God. It's like nerve-wracking. It's like, is it gonna work? We won't know until we have it all back together. At that point, if it doesn't work after changing the screen, I will probably send it in. Okay, so those are all tight. Now I'm gonna pull this up and try putting in that ribbon cable. It's really hard to show you guys, but the ribbon cable just slides into that white piece where it came out of. So I'm gonna be really careful. And I'm just gonna slide it into that ribbon connector. Come on. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna use my pry tool to kind of just help guide it and then press down. Oh God, this is so scary. Ribbon cables are fragile. Got it. It's in place. Now I just need to slide it down. Some tweezers would be nice. So I will add that to the list. You probably already saw it on the list. This is me realizing that you need some tweezers. There we go. It's going in, almost there. Just slowly pushing down on it, corner, each corner, just slowly pushing it in. Okay. And just like that, almost there. All right, and I'm sorry that that camera up there is just an Osmo. I'm probably gonna crop in and it's gonna be kind of fuzzy. This is my other good camera that is being repaired. So, yep, that's how it goes around here. Okay, so now it's in place. All right, cool. So now that we want, the ribbon cable is completely in there. Just gonna do one final check, and yep, we're all good. Now we need to put back this piece that was holding in this ribbon cable. There's two little notches. When you're looking at your own, there's two little notches that kind of guide. It's basically the guide where you need to put your ribbon cable. Once you have it in there, get the tabs of your little plastic piece here into where it needs to go. There's some metal areas that kind of hold this piece in. And also just make sure you're putting it on the right side too. This is, you'll see some like waterproofing on here. Not really waterproofing, but like the rubber gasket that's making sure no water gets inside of here. So this is gonna be pretty crucial. Not that I'm filming underwater or anything, but just make sure it's a good seal. So mine's not really fitting where it needs to go. There's like one little spot where it's not sticking in there. Let's see if I have to put in there first. Yep. So when you're putting in that plastic piece, oh no, this side's not going in though. I think it has to kind of bend. Yep. So when you're putting that plastic piece, you put in the left side first, where it's hard to show you now, but I can't really show you, huh? Maybe I can zoom in. So right here, put it in this little slot right here first. There's two little things, I don't know what those, what do you call those, but there's two little guides right there that you slide in that piece right there. And then you kind of bend it, this right here, you kind of bend it so you can get it on this little nipple thing. It'll slide through that hole there. And then now you can put the screw in right here. So let's go ahead and do that. This is the silver screw. I'm feeling pretty good about this. This is so crazy just to look at the inside of things. I'm kind of a nerd. All right, now that we have the screen on, now we can put everything back together. So I'm gonna slide this in, push down firmly so it can get into all its little areas. And we're gonna start putting the screws all back in. So the first one we're gonna do is this side here. And we're gonna slide this on first. Perfect. And we're gonna start putting the screws back into place. So this was the HDMI side. This little screw goes onto the bottom. And the multi-port. Is it multi-port? I don't know. I just see it says multi. I've never used it. All right, Ethernet screw. All right, sync port. All right, while we're at it, let's go ahead and put in the rest of the screws on this side. Make sure it's pressed all the way in. Okay. What should we do with the old screen? Does anybody want it? I don't know what you would do with it, but maybe you have a science experiment or something. All right, that's good. All right, one more for the HDMI. And this is on the audio jack ports. All right, good. I'm gonna do the viewfinder next. Put in that little wheel. Don't know if we need to take that off or not, but I did. All right, keep going here. The nice thing about doing this one time is that you'll probably be able to remember how to do it again. Or you'll definitely be more comfortable doing it. And that's why I like taking things apart and putting them back together. I've always been that kind of person. Big nerd. But it's fascinating. And I like to just do things. And especially if I'm saving time and money, I don't have to send this in. God. And then wait for it to get repaired, which could be weeks. And if you're doing this professionally, you should have insurance. I have insurance. I don't think I'm gonna start a claim though. But you should have protection, like the Sony protection. I will probably do it after this. I'm always really careful with my lenses and my cameras, but things happen, you know? Let's do the LCD screw here. Okay, SD card. Oh. I really want to just put in the battery and just turn it on and see if it works. But I should not. I shouldn't. Okay. Before I put the flap one on, we have to put this bottom thing back on. This just slides into place here. Put this on top of it. Come on, baby. Okay, so there we go. There's one flap screw that was holding that piece into place. See if I can get to it. Okay. I'm trying not to touch the adhesive as much because the oils on my hands might damage it. Of course, it's going to be weaker than what it was before, but I'm trying to prevent it from being any weaker than it already is. Okay, push that back on and it should not come up. I'm sure you can buy some glue that will make it sticky again, but like I said, I've done it on my A7S III and it's still sticky. Oh my gosh, we're almost there. So let's put the bottom back on. I'm so excited, oh my God. so happy. I was so mad when I first... Okay, funny thing is, I had a screen protector on there, and when this happened, when the strap got stuck and the camera flew out of my hands and it hit something, I thought, oh, good thing I had a screen protector on. Oops, that's not. And then I didn't really think of anything, didn't really think about it. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take that screen protector off at some point. And then I had a shoot on Tuesday. Or was it? Yeah, it was on Tuesday. And I was gonna use it, and then I turned my camera on, and boom, lines, dead pixels, everything, not good. And there we go. And I was like, oh shit, it's broken. So I pulled off the screen protector, and of course it looked just like the screen protector, shattered. And I was like, okay, this sucks. And immediately I was like looking up ways how to fix it. I saw nothing online, no YouTube videos, how to replace the screen. I was like, oh God, then I'm not gonna be able to figure it out. So then I emailed some companies asking how much it would cost to fix. And I didn't even reach out to the company that Precision. I didn't reach out to them because of what happened that one time with my Sony 16-35. Ever since that happened, I really don't even want to send any lenses to them ever again. Ugh. And it took forever for them to be like, oh, hey, we can't fix your lens. At least a week and a half, 2 weeks, I think. And then they're like, hey, we can't fix it. Here, spend $1,600. Stupid. Oops. Okay. 2 more screws and we can try it out. But yeah, I reached out to this company right here. Forgot what they're named, Video One or something. Reached out to them. And then I just Googled how much the screen was, and it was half the price is what they were going to charge, which made sense. Got to pay for labor. But they're relatively cheap. Cheaper than I would expect Precision to be. But again, I didn't want to wait, so here we are. I think we did a pretty good job. Just making sure these are all tight. I think I broke my screw. Or the bit. It's not fitting in here anymore. Okay, so that's it. All right, so that is it. We have a new screen on here. This is the old one. Slide this back on. And now all we have to do is put a battery in and turn it on. I am freaking out right now. Okay, here goes. Don't blow up. Okay, here we go. We are good. Look at that. Just like new. I might just start a camera repair company. Just kidding. I don't want to be responsible for anyone else's gear. Wow, I can't believe we did it. We did it. You did it too. I'm so proud of you. We actually fixed our screen. This garbage. You have a brand new screen and a camera that is back to new. I'd love to hear your success stories in the comments below. And if you have any tips or anything that I missed, put that in the comments as well, because that's gonna help future people trying to fix their cameras. See you next time when we're trying to fix something else. I don't know what it'll be, but things always break, and I will be there to help you replace them. So let's go. Goodbye. See you next time. Bye. Bye.